are you?
I am a marketeer, I am a mom, and I run my small business called Kgolo Consultants, which I started about 3 years ago.
You are achieving all these things. What is it that makes you wake up at night?
In my mind, there was no money in media. So by the time I was done with my studies, I refused point blank to intern. Like, if Lord, I've paid my dues.
You are not just having TikTok followers for no reason. You're doing something that is very impactful.
I must be very honest with you. In my mind, I'm a lawyer, but it just didn't feel right for me. Please, no doubt, I know I would be a lawyer and a good one, you know. But also, that's also my confidence just speaking.
Your confidence and your being.
Yes.
When people ask me about this podcast, why are you podcasting? I said, I want a podcast because I want to be able to disseminate information that's going to be impactful in people's lives. I go deep.
Yeah.
Hey, I go deep. I go find files. This is the remarkable, with the remarkable people. And my next guest is Katlego Gaborone. She's a marketeer. She's somebody who understands how she goes around that world. She's amazing. And I'm very proud to have you on this program, on this podcast, on this platform. And I say program, platform, and also etc., etc., etc. Who are you? Can we talk about that? Can you introduce yourself to Botswana?
Yes, thank you, Matty, for having me. Thank you so much. I think I should count myself lucky to be on the remarkable. My name is Katlego Gaborone. I am a 36-year-old woman, and I proudly say that age because I know as women sometimes we shy away from talking about our age, but I think it speaks to the blessings that have been bestowed upon me by God to be alive this long. I am a marketeer, as you have said. I am a mom. I am an entrepreneur and an avid swimmer. And I run my small business called Kgolo Consultants, which I started about 3 years ago. And yeah, what else, Matty?
Like
What
the thing that's so impressive about you is that you're young. You're 36 years
Yes.
old. You are achieving all these things, and you are going out and getting yours. You know, and it's so important that other people should also understand that you need to look at what is your passion.
Yeah.
What is it that makes you wake up at night? What is it that you love and you pursue that? And it's easier said than done.
100%.
So I just wanted to explore hore wena o kgonne yang. Batho
Yeah.
bangwe ba feela gore they are not able to pursue those passions of theirs.
Yeah, I think, to be very honest, you know, sometimes we take certain directions of our life for granted. You know, I don't think I 100% woke up one day and I was a marketeer. No, I didn't even study marketing, which is not, I presume, not typical because people always think that you will kind of forge a path in something that you're most comfortable with. And we're most comfortable with what we have studied because we're most conversant with what we have studied. I never studied marketing a day in my life. But I just so happened to have had marketing kind of sort of fall in my lap, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And when something falls in your lap in this way, you kind of ultimately realize it's not by mistake. You know, it's definitely, there's a bigger reason for that.
Yeah. Like what they say, like when the student is ready, the teacher arrives.
100%. And I agree with that because I believe I was ready to come into my own in terms of the marketing space, but I never even knew it as something to explore. So I went through my primary school, went through high school, and went and studied in South Africa for university. And I studied at Monash University in Roodepoort. And there I was 100% sure I was, well, before that I had thought, you know, I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. You know what I mean? But then after some time, I kind of realized, you know what though? Maybe the media space is for me. This is where I belong. I'm a talker. Let me explore that. So I get into Monash University and I study media communication and business management. And the business management was to try and kind of create a balance there, because in my mind, there was no money in media, right? And there was no money in media only by my perception of what was either happening at home at that point in time or what I deemed was happening at home in terms of media, in the media space. I felt it wasn't as developed. Where would it get me? I need a little bit of business acumen to get me ahead. So I studied business management and as well as media. But I then decided that I would complement that by ensuring that I intern throughout my studies, right? So one of the biggest issues at the time, Matty, was that once you complete your studies, you would have to intern for 2 years. You'd hear the stories. You intern for 2 years, you're earning a minimal amount of money. In my view, but in your view, and I then decided I would intern throughout my studies. I would come home, and because it was an Australian university, the holidays were very long. So from December until end of February, it's 3 months. And so I would come home every holiday. OSEC group was where I would intern, and I did that for 4 years. So by the time I was done with my studies, I refused point blank to intern. Like, if Lord, I've paid my dues. I've worked hard. When everybody else is enjoying their holiday, I'm working. And so that is how I then decided that let me find a job. And I walked into Choppies and requested a meeting with the CEO, and it's almost like the rest is history. That is how I got into marketing, to be honest. Yeah.
There's a guy called Virgil Abloh. Yeah, I talk about him all the time.
The designer, yeah?
Yes, the designer.
He passed on, correct?
Well, he was the architect.
Oh, was
Who
he?
became a designer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who became so Virgil Abloh, the story about him is that he is a Ghanaian,
yes,
designer, architect, rather, who then, started setting up stages, even because, architecture is it's going to take you to any place that you want to see as a creative.
Yeah.
And this man then built stages for the likes of Kanye West. At the time where he unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
He was the head of Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
Yeah, man, and head designer of Louis Vuitton, man. Something that is now done
big
by
deal.
something that is now done by Pharrell.
Yeah.
I call people like that multi-hyphenates.
Yeah.
You look at Rihanna, and I talk about this all the time, and I think I've said it so many times. Rihanna, started off as a singer.
Yeah.
Then she took her last name and said Fenty makeup, and then said Fenty lingerie. Now she's acting as well.
Yeah.
You look at the Kardashians, to whatever extent, for all of their sins, all
that they continue to be crucified
for all of their sins.
Oh,
you
Kim.
cannot be a non-jealous person and not look at the Kardashians arriving
and Tkay,
at their wedding in Venice, where it's just amazing and it's remarkable. You look at them. And for me, because I was bullied as a kid, so I particularly love Chloe.
Yeah.
I resonate with Chloe.
Because she feels a little like an underdog of sorts, but who has also come up and just blossoming.
100%.
I get it.
100%.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I look at people like you, I look at, and now bringing it back to you, because this is not about my viewpoints.
No, by all means.
Yeah, but I really love the fact that you have been able to curate your career
Yeah.
in a manner that suits you,
Yeah.
and that you have that many TikTok followers, and that you have that much influence and impact,
Yeah.
because you are not just having TikTok followers for no reason. You're doing something that is very impactful. So I want you to get into that space.
I appreciate that, Matty, but I must be very honest with you. I also believe that sometimes you need a bit of a push. You always need some people in your life that either care about you or have identified something in you for you to be able to see what you're about, you know? Here I am coming out of university, and I decided to take a gap year, you know? And when I took a gap year, it wasn't because I had leisure time. I just didn't know what to study. You know, like I said, in my mind, I'm a lawyer, but it just didn't feel right for me. You know, and please, no doubt, I know I would be a lawyer and a good one. You know, but also that's also my confidence just speaking. But I think the gap year
Your
allowed
confidence in
me.
your being.
Yes, yeah, fair, right? It allowed me an opportunity to kind of explore what I was about. And I'll be very honest, and I talk oftentimes in any space I'm in, I'll talk about the one gentleman for me who made me realize what I was about. And I don't know if you're familiar with him. There's a gentleman by the name of Majakatata Peku, a man from Pikwe. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with him.
Jax for me was the beginning of me identifying what I'm about. I was working in my gap year. I went and worked at Kgolo Gaborone. You know, they were selling. Before it was Avani, you know, privileged portfolio cards. You know, your Sun International privileged portfolio. So I was in a call center, and we were pretty much just selling or reselling or getting you to kind of onboard you again for another year of the loyalty card. And there comes a call, and it's Jax. And he's inquiring about this privileged portfolio. Long story short, I'm invited for an interview. It was just for 3-month stint with Gaborone. But for the rest of my gap year, I was interviewed by Majaka Tata and Mpopeko. And the wife, and they just encouraged me and also showed me that they literally instilled in me that do you know your energy, you know, because they headhunted me.
It's possible, Black Child.
Yeah, it's possible.
There you go. You know, I quoted you early on.
Yes, it's possible.
Nah.
She likes saying that, and it's true. I mean, it's possible, Black Child.
And also for me to just be picked up from a phone call, somebody inquiring about privileged portfolio, and then now I've got a job, I've got a really nice salary, as well as some commission there, and I'm all of 80, right? And from there, having that agreement with Jax, every holiday I'm coming home, I will work. And those were his words to me. No matter what, that university of yours, you come home and you work. And I'll be honest, for me to get to a point of identifying that I've got something, Matty, was when I came home 2010, a World Cup season. You know, you don't want to come home because Philip is here. I can really was saying Philip is here. But I came home, literally dropped my bags, went to work the following day, and he told me, tomorrow you're packing up, you're going to Namibia. He had started a branch in Namibia, and I was to go there and train a staff of 20, if I remember correctly, in terms of, because now I had the experience, call center, right? Call center management, and it was to train the team. And for the life of me, Matty, I couldn't understand, what are you doing? You know, for so many people who are here every day, and here I come and you're sending me to Namibia for a 4-month stint. And it was through that then that I had to bring myself to asking him, Jax, why? And in his voice, he's like, you know? And I did that. I think it was that experience for me that made me realize that there's nothing I cannot do. There's nothing can't put my mind towards
You're a
and not
multi-hyphenate.
achieve. Exactly.
You're multi-hyphenate.
That at that age, I was 20, if not 21. And here I am training a team of people who are much older than I am. I'm sitting in meetings with CEOs over their brands that we are the custodians of. We're selling SIM cards, airtime, internet over the phone, and I'm the girl training the teams to do that. And it for me it came like it was 21, and I then realized, you know what, I can do just about anything.
You can do it,
man.
yeah.
I can do just about
like
anything.
Tkay, for Tkay to convince me to interview you.
Yeah.
For you to and
Pray tell.
No, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
For me to deserve, I'm gonna start off there.
Yeah.
For me to deserve the privilege of your time.
Oh.
I need to research, why do I deserve the privilege of your time? Why do I owe myself the privilege of knowing this person?
Yeah.
And for you to deserve the privilege of my time, I also do the same amount of research. And so I'll tell you why. When people ask me about this podcast, why are you podcasting? I said, I want a podcast because I want to be able to disseminate information that's going to be impactful in people's lives. You're a multi-hyphenate.
Yeah.
That's why we have you on this show. The glory multi-hyphenate. Even when we put it from the byline, it's going to be,
Oh, nice.
The multi-hyphenate. Because gone are the days where you have to think of your career and curate your career along the lines of that you are this person that went and studied psychology, so you should stay in the psychology stream.
Yeah.
Gone are the days where you should even think of yourself within any kind of formal or, I call it an imposing type of setup.
Yeah.
I think the world is your oyster. And one of the things that we love, and that's when I was now researching about you, because I go deep.
Yeah.
Hey, I go deep. I go find files.
You go inside.
I go find files. I mean, I just love the fact that you're able to reinvent yourself, and you've been able to reinvent yourself and to evolve.
Yeah.
And now going back to you, in your career, as you've grown as a person, what are the lessons that you'd like to share? What are the things, the gems that you've picked up along the way? And over and above that, please speak to what is positive and what is negative, so that we also can not just be creating a dream picture.
This illusion of the greatness of entrepreneurship. I appreciate that because there's it's always two-pronged in life, there's the pros and the cons to anything. And when I think about the trajectory of my career, it's been supported by a lot of it's unfortunate, it's been supported by some pretty amazing men. Some pretty amazing
What's
men.
unfortunate about it?
When I say unfortunate,
Oh,
it's
I want to
because
hear this.
it's not a bad thing. I think sometimes I wish maybe there were more women who had supported me along the
100%,
way
100%.
because they were there. It's not to say they were not. They were there. But the support that I felt and I knew was elevating me was typically from
Can I
men.
just say, I love you.
Yeah.
I just love you of the last 5 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Because you're basically espousing a view that you wish there could be more women.
Yes,
and
100%.
we should be more visible for each other.
100%.
And you're saying, you wish you could talk about your success within the context of more women.
Yes.
And right now, you're speaking about your context within the context of men.
Yeah.
That has been my journey. But go ahead.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And from moving from Majakatata Peku, for me being a pioneer in his space, he was in a space where
100%.
he had a business process outsourcing solutions company at a time where it was unheard of.
Yeah.
I was selling credit cards and loans over the phone. You know, I was selling mortgages in Australia, and my name was Savannah because Katlego was not easy to pronounce, you know, for the
Palatable.
Australian market. Exactly. And moving from that to now graduating and walking into Choppies and sitting with the CEO and asking him for a job. And he was just like, young lady, shouldn't you be going through the internship program? And I remember he sent me across town at the time to a refrigeration company or something. And I went there and the guy said, what are you going to do here? And I'm like, sell these fridges. And he's just like, go, da, da, da. Like he could just tell this was not me. I went back to him and I said, I need a job and I want a job here. I want a job in Choppies and I will prove myself to you. And he was very clear because, and I always say this about him, he is a brilliant businessman. The
who
CEO of
is
Choppies,
this?
Mr. Ramachandran Support. Brilliant businessman.
I wanted you to be specific.
Yeah. But he will always remind you that, do you know what? Here is about work. It's about grit. And you have to have the backbone because retail is no joke. We don't sleep here. There's no
Business
sleep.
is no
Yeah.
joke.
There's no, yeah, exactly. And so if you're determined, we'll give you a shot. If you don't cut it, you're gone. I will make no apologies for that. And I was ready. And I felt ready because I had been groomed by an amazing man who had readied me for that type of environment. Also, I thought, you know, and I got into Choppies. I did that for 3 years. Amazing experience. I think that environment prepares you for any environment because it's fast paced. It's go, go, go. It is everything a young person needs and more, you know, because you get groomed to work hard and not make any excuses. There's no time for excuses.
Well, it's almost like I look at Choppies, I'm like, you're working in India. You know, and the Indians don't complain, but we Botswana complain because we're so entitled.
Yeah.
And I say this.
Yeah,
with
there are definitely
and I
elements
say
of
this
that.
with deliberation. And I know some might not like it, but hey,
Fair. It's okay.
yeah, no, it's okay. You know, and people can bury themselves in
Yeah.
that sense because, I mean, they're not that exposed in terms of understanding that when you go out into the world, what we have in this country.
Yeah.
We look at the recent spate of people that complain about this country and people that complain about the current government.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the current government. I'm just saying, Hore, can we allow ourselves a little bit of grace?
That's true.
Now, moving forward,
Yeah.
you talk a lot about Repeko, and it resonates with me because I grew up with him, Kopikwe.
Yeah.
He's actually, Majaka Tata is actually one of my very good friends.
Yeah.
His wife is somebody that I admire a lot.
Yes.
I'm following her political journey and I
Yeah,
wish
yeah.
her well.
Yeah.
And sister,
Big up to you.
Big up to you, you know. Big up to you. And, you know, at the end of the day, I want to say he dreamed something so big, so real.
Oh, yeah.
And so unprecedented. And I think within, you know, the evolution of who we are as people, there'll be where we have to look at entrepreneurs and we have to understand that they're pioneers. He was a
Yeah.
pioneer,
Yeah.
you know. And pioneers, they stumble, they falter,
That's
you
true.
know, they wilt,
Yeah.
you know, and they do fall.
Yeah.
But they see another day
That's
and,
true.
and can evolve. That being the case, I think I want you to speak about the fact that it's freakingly, crazily scary to see yourself in that position and to put yourself and leave yourself so vulnerable and so exposed.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
I like the word that you use there, vulnerability, because the minute you take on entrepreneurship, and also that's not something that I had ever imagined would be the case. I didn't think too much about it when I got into it. I thought to myself, you know what, I have a dream, I have a vision, I have the energy, I have the grit, I have the drive, you know, I'm good to go. But entrepreneurship leaves you vulnerable. it leaves you vulnerable because you can't work in a silo. You know, you're not in a silo, but at the same time, you're also in a situation where you need to protect your direction, guard your position, because you are faced with so many hurdles, you know. And when I decided that when I was going to get into entrepreneurship, when I decided I was going to start kgolo, it was because I knew that I had more in me that I wanted to explore, Matty. There was more in me that I wanted to try things that I hadn't tried. You know, I had been in corporate Botswana, I've been in Kirile, FMCG, energy, you know, I'd worked in a college, I had done entrepreneurship, I had, you know, gone in and went back again to Majakatata at some point as well, and went back again to Choppies. And that was my most recent position before kgolo. I was working as a marketing manager for Choppies. And I think at that point in my life, I thought, okay, something's got to give. I need to try something different. And I had just had my daughter, and I thought, I also need a bit of time for this girl. You know, at the same time, it's not easy, as you would know, to try and juggle, because people always say, oh, there's a balance, try and strike a balance. There's no such. That's what I believe. There's no such. Something's got to give. Yeah, something has to kind of, one day it's this, one day it's that. One day your business got the best of you, one day it's your kids who have the best of you. But I wanted to be able to make those decisions for myself. And so diving into kgolo for me left me vulnerable because I was so used to a particular way of life. I was always on the other side of the table, being the one who decides how things go, you know, being the decision maker, for lack of a better word, in terms of where the direction. And now all of a sudden, I cannot. I want I kids, mate, you know. I want to go a certain direction, but that's not where I'm going. I'm pulled in another direction, and not because I'm incapable of the work, but because the environment dictates sometimes where you go, not so much you. And even in where the environment may dictate you go, you find yourself having to decide whether or not that works for you or no. And those are difficult parts that you come to, or crossroads of sorts that you come to, and you realize that, you know what, yeah, and you kind of sit back and think, I should start applying again. I start applying again. Maybe I should go, you know, apply, get me a job, 9 to 5, where I know what is happening, because half the time you don't know if you're coming or going, you know. And I guess it's a comfortability thing as well, Matty. You know, go na le ha o tlwaelang gore kana ke theogela ka nako e, at least by 8 ke chaisitse, or at least midnight I've worked on this and I'm done, I'm submitting, you know. But entrepreneurship, ga gona chaile. If you sleep,
100%.
that's your business sleeping,
Yeah,
you know.
100%.
So there's a great deal of vulnerability that comes with it, and sometimes you just do not want to deal.
Yeah. No, 100%. You know the thing. By the way, you're very well spoken.
Oh, thank you.
You're very
Thank
well
you so
spoken.
much.
So clearly,
this coming from you.
Yeah, no,
I
so
mean,
clearly you're,
I mean.
you're a reader. No, so clearly you're a reader. You know, so
Yeah.
clearly you're a reader. I can tell you for free. People don't understand. You only build a construct of vocabulary
100%.
out of the amount of reading that
You
you
do.
do.
Yes,
Yeah.
very true.
And I remember there's a cousin of mine. He passed away. May his soul rest in peace. But I was Mwana Tlu Motang.
What a rich name.
Yeah, Mwana Tlu Motang. He had the most beautiful. I remember him. He had the most beautiful freckles on his face, and that cousin of mine. He would come, and you know, he would say, "Let's go peek, let's go peek."
Oh, yeah.
So go peek. I wanna hela ha koni hela behind. Let's go peek. Will understand. behind area 1.
Kozana.
Kozana. And behind area 1, I get area 1 in ya rona bana ba di operator. Yeah, no area 1 bana ba humina ba nnela bana ba di shabi. But you know, we could go to area 2.
Yeah.
And there was a lot that was done at area 2 because I don't want to sit here and also be, you know, I always find it very fallacious when a lot of people want to cast seeds of aspersion towards people that are privileged because that privilege they did not call it to themselves, you know, in the same way that we did not call our non-privilege to ourselves. And so I have a lot of friends that grew up very privileged and are very humble and beautiful people. But anyway, back to my point.
Yeah.
So there was this library. Area 1, there's this library. So my cousin would come. It was the most amazing library. You know, it was like a labyrinth, you know. And I remember even Koskolong, I grew up Kizana Skolo Kopikwe, Kokopano, primary, and then we came and Kopano had the most amazing library, you know, where you discovered like all sorts of authors.
Yeah.
Louisa Alcott, my favorites. Jane Austen, I'm definitely a Jane Austen person.
Oh, nice.
People like Mark Twain.
Yeah.
And his
Mark
name,
Twain.
Yeah, Mark
definitely.
Twain. And his name is actually Samuel Langhorne Clemens. You know, like Chinua Achebe, you know, the South Africans, Bonadine Godimer, Alan Payton, Botswana, you know, Bo Smakale Munyaisi. And so, you know, I just grew up reading both.
No, one can definitely tell. One can tell.
So I want to say you're very well spoken.
Thank you. Thank you, Matty. Yeah.
And so as we look at your journey, as you've been describing your journey, it's so interesting to me. As I'm saying, you're so well spoken because you read.
Yeah.
Have you ever, in your mind, considered what does good look like for this country? And what do you wish for this country? Because I don't want this to be a long podcast. People accuse me of the fact that, Luella Ruri, we're the longest podcast. You know, so I just wanna wrap up this podcast, you know, by saying to you, it's been such an amazing journey within this time that I've spent with you, listening to you and understanding you. But I want you to really get into what is the Botswana that you imagine and dream for?
The Botswana that I imagine and dream for, Matty, is just right here on my tongue because I think it's something that I think about every day. Every day. And whether somebody wants to hear it or not, it stems from my frustrations. It stems from some of my frustrations, and therefore I think about it a lot. And for me, the Botswana I imagine and the Botswana I dream of is a Botswana where people are more alive than they are now. I tend to find that we come off a little like we're a little like we're tone deaf, like we don't see where the world is going, like we don't understand that there's a rush. Things are happening in the world, man. People are alive, people are dreaming, people are achieving. And for me, it's just it's like people are achieving. Right like people are driven, purpose driven. And then I kind of feel like sometimes re na le go nna le boitseme bo bontsi, re na le go nna le entitlement entsi, like somebody owes us something, or our government owes us something. You know, my mother, my father, they owe me something. Nobody owes
100%
anybody anything in this world.
Child, are you just my twin?
Nobody owes us
but what's the one thing I
anything.
told you guys would happen on this
He
podcast?
actually said it from when I arrived. He's like, you and Matty.
It's happening right now.
Nobody owes us anything, Matty. And I wish we'd be so much more supportive of each other and dream together, you know, because I'll be honest, when kgolo started, Matty, and which is unfortunate, something I hear a lot, I didn't get support from Botswana for the first 2 years of my business.
My God.
I was supported by Kenyans. I was supported by South Africans. I was supported by Nigerians. And it is within the past year that I can say to you, I've gotten business from Botswana. In the 3-year space, my business was sustainable because of people who are not my people, quote unquote, right? But if we were also to wake up and realize that business is on the continent, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We need to get to a point where we
100%,
trade with each other. I cannot be doing what I'm doing, Matty, in Gaborone, in a silo, and feel like I will make the numbers. Re banyenyane already.
100%.
You know, our numbers are so small. In order for us to get where we need to go, we need to look outward.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is for me.
There's a young guy also on Loen. I sit on one of the few boards that I still sit on because I am with deliberation and intent getting out of local boards because I think it's I think it's time for other people. I think it's your
appreciate
day.
that.
I think it's time for other day. It's important. Good, let's pass on the baton, guys. There's enough
I like
to share.
that, Matty.
There's enough to share.
I like that a lot.
There's enough to share. Because it's my time to get on international boards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And even Galaxy boards. Hello, but on a serious note, there's a young man, he happens to be the MD or the CEO of Analytic Mining Services.
Okay.
And I sit on the board. By virtue of my position, by virtue of myself as an individual. Not that it matters.
No.
The point that I'm trying to make is, but when you see the strategy, Analytic, when you see what Analytic Mining Services serves to do and to take, I get it on we're sunshine miners, we're open pit miners.
Yes.
And that is what Botswana, get out of the biggest mine in the world.
Yes.
By value is resident in Botswana, Binjwane mine. And, you know, you look at Orapale, Tlhakane, Damsa, that's also a huge part of it. And so we want to export also skills and services to the continent. We should not only see ourselves within the context of this country because it's a very small market. You're very commercially driven as well. Another compliment.
So.
I'm giving you all these compliments.
At this rate, I should live on this podcast, Tkay.
No,
you're very welcome.
But clearly you're onto something, and you're super smart, you know. And I like engaging with super smart people.
Thank you.
But when you look at it, we really should look at, you know, organizations like Analytic Mining Services as a vehicle to actually export our services to the world. And you look at what Rwanda is doing. For all of Kagame's sins that are apparently there and existent, that for me, I love Kagame at a personal level and at a professional level. But, you know, I'm not one to sit here and try and defend anything.
True.
But one thing that I will say is that, are you progressing? I think environments, and my last thought to you that I want you to speak on is, do you share the viewpoint that I'm convinced of, that environments do need a somewhat benevolent dictatorship to be able to be steered forward towards a direction of progress? Because you know, utmost liberalization, it's almost like you need a fusion of what's happening in China and what's happening in the democratic world in order for you to actually reach a level where a country can progress and actually look at the provision of those basic rights to those people that are at the lower level of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where you're looking at basic education, water provision, sanitation, you know, where you're looking at accommodation,
self-actualization,
and you cannot expect that a society can go from that level, which is the
Yes.
id,
Yeah.
that looks at those basic needs, to the next level, which is the ego, that then looks at those needs that are mental, and then go beyond and look at the SIPA ego, where you're now talking about being transcendental,
Yeah.
where you're now talking about being so self-actualized, where it's spiritual.
Yeah.
And for me, I think then Africa is doing it in reverse, where a lot of people that are actually sitting without the basic needs being provided for are coming from a spiritual level. And so that the plethora of these churches that false promise them things that are not, attainable.
Yeah. And they fall prey to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your viewpoint on that?
I think when you, I appreciate your wording is interesting, actually. Benevolent dictatorship.
Yes. A
It
detective.
is a very good use of words, actually. Brilliant use of words. And I can understand that because you're speaking towards a need to push in a certain direction, but with ease, but with
care.
with care, exactly. And I can understand why you say that, and I understand that because there, and it's to speak to where our former president had started a campaign, yeah, Arichinching. It was something that I think it was spoken, but I don't know if it got into the hearts of Botswana. Because for me, that slogan, it hit me, Matty. It hit me because it spoke to something so deep rooted in us. We need to find a way of deviating from what we think is comfortable, man. Let's deviate from being kosher with mundane, kosher with ease and chill.
My girl.
Why are we comfortable? And the reason why you would like Kagame is because he pushes for excellence. He drives an environment that says, let's do more, let's do better. We don't need to be that African country. Oh, hey, you must get off that airplane and just be wowed. What is wrong with us being a wow nation by virtue of how hard we work and how we work together and how we work on the continent in terms of how we enterprise, right? Let's dream bigger. I think the reason why sometimes I find myself a little, like I said, a lot of my thinking stems from my my frustration.
I really love you. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. It stems from my frustrations because I realize that I meet so many amazing people every day, and so many amazing young people, older people. I interact with amazing people every single day of my life. And then I think to myself, does the world know? Does the world know who we are? Does the world know what we're made up of? Do we know what we're made up of?
Wow.
And for me, that's why I started Kgolo, Matty, because I wanted to start a growth marketing agency that would say to the world, hey man, there's a young Botswana woman with life who wants to do something that has not been done before locally and look outward.
Do you know why I know I'm going to have a second interview with you?
Ooh.
The second interview is going to be about kgolo specifically.
Yeah.
Because we have not spoken about kgolo. I get it. This was good. I don't think, you can have a podcast where you explore everything in one session.
As human beings, we've got a lot.
Yeah, this is why Tkay has had me twice on his podcast.
Actually, right? Yeah.
And Tkay manages to get things out of me that I never tell anybody, by the way. So be careful. Don't be interviewed by Tkay. Be interviewed by me, right? But he's my brother.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I want to say to you that it's been a privilege.
Thank you, Matty.
To sit here with you.
Yeah.
To listen to you. I am definitely bringing you back because, you see, we have to keep people wanting to come back.
Yeah.
I'm definitely bringing, and the next episode we're going to talk about kgolo. We're going to talk about what it is that you are doing, right?
Yeah.
So that we can, educate ourselves, at least for myself.
Yeah.
And others on what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
But today, I just wanted to kind of explore who you are.
Thank you.
Because this is the Remarkable.
Yeah.
You know, and the Remarkable is a podcast that celebrates people that are remarkable. It doesn't matter who you think you are. We, you know, look at you and say you're contributing to the world in a way that's giving ether to the fire.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, you're,
I
you're
like
such
that.
you're such
like
a pleasant.
Thank you.
Yeah, woman, and I'm so proud to be associated with a person of your brand because you just exemplify everything
Thank you,
that I wish I had
Matty.
known when I was your age.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. As
very
I
much.
blush, thank you. Yo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me,
Yeah,
Matty. It was
yeah.
an absolute pleasure. Also, conversing with you has been so easy and lovely.
Yeah.
But then again, also, ke rata gone go bua.
A passion that we share.
Yes. So I appreciate that.
But it's always, you know, and in closing, there's I once I was put on this program.
Yeah.
When I work for DBS, yeah, people always laugh. They say, yeah, whatever it is, go to Botswana, but when you work for DBS, you know, yeah. When I work for DBS, I was put on this program, an Anglo-American program. It's called Future Shapers. So basically, they put at least 30 people that are going to shape the future of the world.
Oh, lovely.
And of Anglo, you
Yeah.
know, and I was so honored to be on that program. And one of the things that I learned, I remember one of the professors that spoke to us during the program. It's a 1.5 years program. It's almost like you're getting an MBA.
Yeah.
He said sometimes you have to be able to suspend your truth in service to understanding.
Wow.
And I suspended my truth in service to understanding, to understand you. And I think you did the same thing. And it's been a remarkable journey indeed. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Matty. Thank you so much.